Alright, so here's my Dino Shaddoll deck list. Now, it's been adapting and changing over time, but this deck list, you either hit Dinos or hit Shaddolls, and if you hit both at the same time, you're golden. So, right now, this is for the current format as of January 2020. So, keep that in mind. So right now I'm running 3 Ultimate Conductor because 3 Ultimate Conductor is really good. He's really good at 2 as well. I just happen to run him at 3, unlike most people, because 9 times out of 10 I will end up with Ultimate Conductor out on my board. If I don't have Ultimate Conductor out on board or a Shaddoll fusion, I'm screwed. And it's really funny to drop triple Ultimate Conductor on somebody and just be like, you lose. 2 Overtext Guadalus, definitely. Reason being is because 3's way too cloggy, and having him at 2 to search your double evolution pill is essential. It's base standard since he's came out for dinos. He's always going to be at 2. Now I'm running 2 Shadow Beast. I know some people run it at 1. I run it at 2 because I like the fact that I can draw a card if he's sent from to the graveyard no matter what. So if I pop in with, Ultimate Conductor, I'll get the draw. If I, send him with Foolish or send him with Shadow Fusion, I'm going to get the draw. So it's a nice thing. 1 Giant Rex, obvious, why? Because he's going to get banished with double evolution pill. Now I'm running 2 Shadow Dragon. This deck does not main deck any sort of spell trap destruction, but Shadow Dragon helps with popping spells and traps, as well as having Nightmare Phoenix in the extra deck. So Shadow Dragon is going to be your main source of spell trap destruction in this deck, which is okay, especially when you have 2 of them and you have quite a few ways of sending him. This is a going second deck, exclusively going second deck. You can side deck and throw in other stuff to go first, but like if you're going to go first, I would definitely recommend dropping the Dark Ruler no more. But we'll get there when we get there. Then we have 3 Miscellaneousaurus, busted card. He protects your dinos and then lets you special summon from a dino from the deck. Soul Eating Oviraptor definitely has to be at 3 in order to make this deck work at all. He's your main fixer entirely. You need a card, you need a dino in grave, and you need a card in hand. Somehow Overtech or Soul Eating Oviraptor, he will fix your hand, fix your grave for you. Now I'm running 2 Ash. I don't run 3, I run 2 because I don't want it to clog my deck. So running 2 Ash is a great ratio in terms of me that I've figured out. I run 1 Shadow Falco. Reason being is because there's always times where I need a Shadow on board in order to fusion, or I need a Shadow in hand, and he's the extra target that I need. And once he's sent to the grave, he can special summon himself out and face down defense, which is good in the case of fusions because you can send him off for fusion materials. 1 Drac Alio. Now, depending on whether or not this dude wants to be in hand, he can be, really good for you for synchro plays. Droll Lockbird, I've come to find out, is pretty good in this format now. against people I played with, they'll play like a search spell or something at the start their turn. You just drop Droll and Lock, and they're just like, there goes all my plays. So he's a good card to have in your deck, or side deck it and throw in effect veilers, whatever you feel is necessary for this current meta. 3 double evolution pill, because it is busted and it's a way to cheat out your ultimate conductors as well as overtax. So really good card. Need to run it at 3. Shaddoll Fusion is a really good card as well. You run it at 3. Since this is going second deck, you mainly get the effect of Shaddoll Fusion to send materials from your deck to the graveyard. Now, if you don't happen to be going first and you have Shaddoll Fusion in hand, don't worry. You can, get it to work. You just you just need a way to get a Shadow, in your hand. The Shaddoll Fusion's a great way to bait out negates, because people are like, oh no, he's gonna get a fusion monster. No, we need to stop that. Well, if they don't know this deck, they know Shaddoll Fusion's just a throwaway negate. Because you activate it, and it's not a once per turn. Yeah, it is a once per turn. My bad. I just can't read. You activate it, and it goes to the grave and everything. You're A-okay to play whatever else, most likely, depending on if they have multiple negates. But 9 times out of 10, I use it to either play out Winda or Construct, or to bait out a negate, which is really good. Triple Fossil Dig, because it is a way better version of Rhoda, and it just helps enormously, because you can search everything except for your big dinos off of it and your Shaddolls. But at any other dinosaur, you can search with it pretty easily. And then if you search out, Soul Eating Omniraptor, you can summon him out and either add to hand a big Rex or send Overtext to grave. So really easy. I main deck Dark Ruler no more. Reason being is because there's a lot of boards that build up multiple negates, and they like pendulums. Pendulums will build up 3 negates. Is their standard board. 3 negates and like 4 or 5 monsters out on board. Well, if you main deck Dark Ruler no more, that board ain't gonna scare you. Because of the fact of the matter is you activate it, they can't activate their monster effects to negate it. So they only need spell and traps in order to negate Dark Ruler no more. But 9 times out of 10, if somebody's got a big board that has multiple negates that are monster effects, they're not going to have a spell trap monster negation in their back row. So play Dark Ruler no more and you don't have to worry about it, because they also can't respond to it. And then, they don't take damage. Well, that's fine, but you mainly play it so you can kill out their board, and then next turn you just murder them outright, because you summon out Ultimate Conductor and then you just swing into everything, killing their whole board, and then you play out everything that you want to. So it's a really good card to main deck if you're running going second decks. If you're running, like, I ran it in True Draco when it was a going first True Draco deck, and main deck Dark Ruler no more, just in case it happened to go second. Yeah, it came in handy quite often. Foolish Burial, really good card. You can send Overtax or any of your Shaddolls get their effects. You can send Miscellaneous, Giant Rex, whatever you want. It fixes up your graveyard. You get a graveyard. You get, this card was sent to the graveyard effects. Really good card. Monster Reborn. This is mainly a filler card and a free special summon from the graveyard card. It does help whenever you don't have anything else, so like you can't draw into a raptor and you already happen to have one in grave. Special summon it out from grave, get that effect, you know. In any other case, you can special summon out your fusions once they were summoned properly. I run one Shaddoll fusion. Fact of the matter is this isn't as good as Super Poly or Shaddoll Fusion. Reason being is because I have to have a Shaddoll monster either on board or in my hand, and most of the time when I draw Shaddoll Fusion, I don't have either. So 9 times out of 10, this card's just dead draw for me. But I run it at 1 because of the hope that I can actually use it. I run 2 Call by the Grave because I'm running a going second build. So you need that, you know, those negates. And oh hey, you're gonna, you know, drop an Ash or something, I can banish it, negate. Also, if you happen to be going first, it's a good card to set down so that you can be like, okay, I can protect myself while I sit here with hand traps. I run 2 Super Poly. I would be running 3, but I can't really see very much room to drop things for a 3rd Super Poly besides like Shaddoll Fusion. But I don't want to drop that because I don't want to have 3 Super Poly that makes me discard a card from my hand to fusion summon. And at this point in time, Super Poly is really big, it's really good, it breaks boards, you can basically make it or break it in terms of a game. Now, here is the extra deck. The extra deck is kind of slim. The extra deck for this deck is kind of tight. Now, if you don't plan on, you know, keeping, you know, links around in terms of big links, you could definitely make it work. You can have a very varied fusion selection if you wanted. But as of right now, I am still trying to think in the matter of I need links. So here's my links just in case if I need to, you know, overextend any. So here's Shaddoll Shirinaga. Sorry, half of these things I don't even really pronounce. So, it's a good Shaddoll monster that you can use your Earths, which is your Giant Rex, and you can use your opponent's monsters in order to summon it out. You won't be going into this one very much, but if you happen to need to, then it's there for an option. It can negate special summon monster effects. So by sending a Shaddoll card from your hand to the graveyard, so it's good in that sense that it's more negation. Then we have Construct. Construct coming back makes this deck a lot more viable because if you happen to have, you know, a Shaddoll Fusion or something, and then, you know, an Ultimate Conductor, and you swung everything, but you still need that little tidbit of damage, and you have Shaddoll Fusion or Super Poly, and you use your Conductor and your Shaddoll Fusion monster, bam, Construct, extra damage. Also, Construct happens to be able to send a Shaddoll card from your deck to the graveyard, so if you need extra draw power, make Construct, send Beast, draw an extra card. You need to pop something, make Construct, send Dragon, pop an extra spell or trap. You need another Shaddoll monster out on board, send Falco special himself back out. You know, those sort of situations. Also, El Shaddol Construct happens to have an effect that whenever you swing, and if she's battling a special summon monster, it's a mandatory trigger to destroy it. To destroy the special summon monster, of course, at the start of the damage step. So if that doesn't go through and everything, then you'll continue through your damage step. El Shaddol Gristia. This is if you happen to have like an Ash on board or in your hand with a Shadow monster in your hand or on board, or Drac Alio, something. Another like bricky hand that you happen to have a fusion spell with. This negates summons. So if you want to be anti-special summon negations, then or some summon negations, you play Gristia and go into her and her, him, it, this person, and go through and play that. Your main Shadow fusion you'd be going into is Window. Window says you use a Shadow monster and a Dark monster. Well, there's quite a bit of Dark monsters in this deck. I could be running, Allure Darkness, but I don't want to chance it with all the other attributes in this deck to discard my hand. So, no. Says must first be special summoned, or must first be fusion summoned, so that's fine and dandy. Same thing with all the other ones. So whenever you fusion summon them, you can, properly, you can fusion special summon them out from the graveyard, so that's good. It cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. Really good, because it prevents itself from being board wiped. Also, each player can only special summon out monsters once per turn while this card's face up on the field. So she slows the game down for everybody. But you mainly special summon her last on your turn, so that you stop your opponent from overextending or building back their board. So 9 times out of 10, you already have an Ultimate Conductor Triano out on board right now. Then you summoned out Window and already made all your other plays. So she's a really good card. I'm running a Mud Dragon of the Swamp, so that I can use Super Poly to just, wreck my opponent's board. You can change out this guy for Starving Venom, I think. The other fusion that requires 2 dark monsters, you can run that. I ran this because this targets a wider, a wider variety of monsters that can be shown out online or in tournaments. So this is an option. Next, 1 high-speed Aroid Chimbara. I kid you not, I ended with a board against heroes with triple Ultimate Conductor on board with a Chimbara. And it was a glorious sight to see. It was big dick energy. But Chimbara can make a second attack during each battle phase. At the start of the damage step, gains 200 attack. And then you don't care about the rest. So this thing can take out half your opponent's life points, or over half. So don't, look down on a Chimbara, because if you don't have a negate to stop it, it's going to hit you for 2. Or it's going to hit half your life points. Evil Sword Dolka, I run at 1 because right now, most of Yu-Gi-Oh right now is either super monster heavy effects or super spell trap heavy effects. And right now, I'm more concerned with stopping monster effects from happening. If I can do that, that's fine and dandy. So running Evil Sword Dolka at 1 is fine with me. Requires 2 dinosaur type monsters that are level 4. It's fine and dandy. During either player's turn, when a monster effect is activated, you can detach, negate that effect, and destroy it. So, negate the activation. Totally different than negating the effect, but still really good card because it's not once per turn. So, it's a double negation in a turn. Now, if you're going against pendulums and stuff, this deck is going to, you know, shy away from negating the spells and traps of it. You're going to mainly focus on destroying that board and making it so they can't build it back. 1 cowboy, because there's always this situation where if you can make a cowboy and you don't run cowboy, you're going to need cowboy. So you run him, so you detach, inflict 800. So you've used cowboy for game. If people even remember that. Boral Sword Dragon, a run at 1. He's an extra option that if you don't have Chimbara anymore, you can go into him and swing more. Same thing with Saryuja. He's in here because the deck can make him. Same thing with Boral Sword, but it's whether or not you want to make it. You have Nightmare Unicorn to shuffle him back a problematic card. Nightmare Phoenix to pop a spell or trap. You have Pinstag. Pinstag's good so that if you've already flipped everything face down with Ultimate Conductor, you have Ultimate Conductor put underneath this monster and he swings into everything instead of actually sending everything to grave when he attacks, so that you get piercing battle damage, which is really good. And then Link Karibo. Link Karibo saved me a few times, but it's a really solid card. Your side deck can vary from format to format. Right now this is my side deck, and like I said, hand traps are the way to go. Now, yeah, you can drop Veilers, throw in impermanence if you can afford that. Online, it's most likely the more apt thing to go about running. But as far as I know, Effect Veilers, if you don't want to run Dark Ruler no more, run Effect Veilers, and you can shut down your opponent with nothing but hand traps. So that's it for this video. If you like this video, like this deck build, please drop a like and subscribe, ring that notification bell. Also, if you happen to have any other deck suggestions or deck ideas that you want me to try out for Yu-Gi-Oh! Or for Master Rule 5, because this deck, I tested it with Master Rule 4, and I've tested it with Master Rule 5, so it works both. If I was in the Master Rule 5, whenever it comes April, I will definitely drop more of the links to throw in more fusions. More fusions and XYZs, you know, more varied stuff. Also, check out the links in the description below. There's a link to my Facebook page, which I talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game stuff, as well as gaming related things, meme related things, you know, it's varied. There's my Mixer account, check that out. I'll stream to Mixer, I'll stream to YouTube, depends on what I'm feeling for the day. If I feel like I want to be a little lazy, I'll stream to Mixer. If I feel like I want to do something more sophisticated, I'll stream to YouTube. Yeah, there's also a link to my Twitter in the description, and I try to keep up with that as well. As always, guys, keep up the shenanigans. I'll see you in the next video.